Welcome to a special edition here at the Bama Standard. I'm surrounded by all SEC defensive talent from Alabama. If you're looking right to my right here, I got my man, all SEC linebacker Marvin Constant in the house.
Roll Tide, fellas, roll Tide.
And below him, again, with all SEC accolades, all SEC DB, same time as my man Marvin, Mr. Smoke Dixon. How you doing today, Smoke?
Roll smoke. Let's go.
Roll smoke. Like I said, we got a little special afternoon. Got these guys with me. It's always a special afternoon to have these two in the house. So look, kind of a hot topic we're going to touch on today. Smoke, an article came out on 24/7 about the Alabama running backs, talking about the Kalen Washington. The transfer was one of the most efficient running backs in the NCAA last year, but it was more pointing to the fact that the Alabama running backs outside of Jalen Milroe was one of the least efficient groups in all of the country, even citing on first down, Alabama, Jam Miller and Justin Haynes specifically were ranked like 150 and 198 in the country on first down rushes. So it's a problem in the Bama backfield. Smoke, you have some serious thoughts on this, so I'm going to let you take the floor, my man.
Well, when you talk about efficiency, the first thing that really popped up to me is, like, what was the reasoning behind it? And saying that the guy that's coming in the portal that just transferred into Alabama is one of the most efficient running backs, that's just saying, hey, listen, we made a conscious decision on going out and getting the best running back that's the most efficient running back because we need help. And like Marvin and I have said all year long, Courtney Morgan and Kalen DeBoer has gotten blamed so much for the inefficiency of the Alabama's personnel, like the players on the team. It was year one for them. What they came in is what they got. And that was more of Nick Saban, what Nick Saban left in the cupboard. And what Nick left in the cupboard was just solid. Haynes is just solid. Miller is just solid. Even the young guy, Richard Young, solid player. But you have to get better guys in that running back room to push each other. When you have a running back that is not creative and everything has to be blocked up, it becomes one of the hardest things for the offensive line to produce yards. And I got an all-SEC linebacker, Marvin, here with me, and we're going to talk through it and why is it so difficult, especially on first down when we know it's heavy run tendency, that it's hard to gain the most yards. And to me, that comes now into how are you calling the game? How are you wanting to run the ball on first down? Is it shotgun? Is it under center? What personnel are you going to? So, Marvin, when you played linebacker, let's just talk through it, and you did all your studying, and you knew when you came in, P and 10, which is the first play out of a drive starter, or first and 10, if they were 80% run, and majority it was, if the back was offset to the quarterback's right, they were going to run majority of the time, zone read, zone to your left, to your right on defense, and they're going to read it the other way, and the quarterback might pull it. For the most part, in your head, if you're playing against Alabama, who do you want to run the ball? The running back or the quarterback?
More than anything, I want the running back to run the ball. First and foremost, it's a team sport. So it takes all 11 people coming together to get the job done. But what do coaches always tell running backs? I need you to have the ability to at least make the first guy miss. If a running back doesn't have the ability to make the first guy miss, then you're dead in the water with your run game. Because, again, you think about it. You can't block everyone because there's 11 on offense, 11 on defense. You might as well take the quarterback out the equation when you start talking blocking. So you're 10 against 11. So usually there's always going to be at least one man that's unblocked. And they always tell the running back, you have to have the ability to beat that one man because that's what's going to depend on you getting to that next level, to that second level. And honestly, we didn't do that this year. Our running backs did not make the first guy miss. So often we were tackled first guy. Just boom. And, and then you start talking the creativity of the offensive coordinator and the fact that defenses could just walk that knife defender down in the box because there was no threat, because they knew all Miller wanted to do was throw the deep ball. And that's a 50-50 shot that you're going to get it. So as a coordinator, I'm going to roll the dice and say, I'm just going to play heavy on the run or the quarterback scramble based upon the tendencies. I'm not even going to worry about the pass. It's a 50-50 shot. I like them odds every day of the week. Right. So as a defensive coordinator, I can load my box on you. Right. Because I know, again, your running back struggle with making the first defender miss. So a lot of times, it's going to be a tackle for a loss.
Well, Mook, you know what? And then just going to on the personnel side of it and looking at it, as much as Bama fans want to knock the offensive line, like that offensive line is good enough. And it's a lot better personnel-wise than a good percentage of all teams in the United States. Because at the end of the day, your left tackle, who's playing left tackle right now, Proctor, he's going to play in the NFL. Your left guard is going to play in the NFL. Your center is going to play in the NFL. And there's a good chance that Jaden Roberts is going to play in the NFL. So at worst, you have 4 of your 5 that are NFL-like talents. We're not saying they're going in the first round or second round, but they have an opportunity to play at the next level because they have next-level ability. Whoever comes in and plays right tackle, that's just a part of it. This is not the professional ranks where everyone is great. At some point, you have to coach and get the best out of just somebody that's average to get them to go play good. If they're good, get them to the level of playing great. But the size that they have up front, they should be able to knock people off the ball and create run lanes. But one of the biggest issues that I have was the hardest thing to defend, going back to my days as a coach on defense, is quarterback run. You have one of the most elite runners at the quarterback position, but only far and few many times when you cut on the tape and you watch games did they create actually run plays that was creative for Milroe to actually run the football and give the defense something else to look at other than zone read. I would love to see if they would have went more heavy packages, bringing that through fullback, put them in the backfield, and run the ball a la what Greg Roman did with Lamar Jackson. Because I think you could have created some instances of that. And in a true run game, regardless of when I'm going to run the ball, if my guys are good enough and they're better than yours, I don't care if you know that I'm going to run the ball. I can get a yard, and the running backs behind me, if they're good enough, can make one miss and have the ability to take the distance.
Yeah, that, and man, listen, after you run that play a few times and it's later in the game, that backside tight end, backside receiver, woo, boy, that's going to be a money ball because they're going to be so used to you seeing that quarterback, run that quarterback off tackle or draw, whatever count or whatever you're running with that same motion. All they're thinking is, they're going to sit on it. And the moment they sit on it, you got something on that backside sitting pretty.
So just to wrap it all up, Mook, I think Rodak did an awesome job with this article using analytics and stats just to prove a point. And I think his point was driven home well because there is an issue in that backfield. And it's not always coaching. It's not always the talent. It's not always the scheme. But it is a combination of it all. What you have is what you have to use. And I think they have to get to a better place that they're using their personnel and the way that their running backs are built towards their strength. Because go ahead.
I was going to say, you bring a valid point, their personnel, because the way these running backs run the ball, they're straight ahead downhill. They're not making cuts. They're not making people miss. They're just running straight into the damn defender. It's like, you can't step to the side on it. You can put a little something on it. Give yourself a chance. Give yourself a two-way go. Just because you see the defender, you don't have to run straight between his damn numbers. And I think that's what a lot of what we did. And you look at the running backs of past. Let's look at the Josh Jacobs. Let's look at the TJ Yeldons. Let's look at a lot of those guys. The Mark Ingrams. What did they have the ability to do? Not only hit the hole quickly, but make that first guy miss in the hole. Give themselves a chance to get that extra 3 to 5 yards. So again, we don't have that right now. We don't have any running back who's shifting them. Yeah, they're powerful, they're stocky, they're well built. But what the hell is the lateral movement like?
Well, let me ask y'all that, because I think that brings up a good point, because running backs built like that seem more fit to be guys that get fed more and more throughout the game and get stronger as the game carries on. And when you got a quarterback that's as dynamic as a runner as Milroe was and took so many of those carries away, was part of the production problem because guys just weren't getting in the flow of the game or getting enough carries to get that downhill, wear them out to where they started.
Running backs, they have to touch the ball to get into the flow of the game. So if you've only got 5 or 10 carries, you hadn't really got into the flow of the game. Right. And not only that, if you're not running the ball, you're not hitting those defensive linemen and linebackers in the mouth so that come third and fourth quarter, they tired and they don't want it no more. So they still going to be foaming at the mouth in the third and fourth quarter because you ain't hit them with nothing yet. So I think that had a lot to do with it. You have to continuously run the ball to get run game success. It don't happen in the first quarter.
Yeah, because I remember a 3-4 game stretch where you saw Justice and Jam only getting 5 to 7 carries apiece throughout the game. So I was, and again, you've got a running back that can get it done, a quarterback that can get it done with his legs. I don't know how much that plays into the.
To me, that's an excuse.
Yeah.
When you're a play caller, you dictate what you want to get done. If you don't want to have the quarterback to read the defensive end, you call a run play with no checks, no kills, no audible. Run it. Right. And there were too many times that you saw pull the ball ended up on the ground. Now, we understand one of the reasons why the ball might have ended up on the ground so much in small hands and not being able to handle the football. But again, I think that you have to understand when you're building a team, there's different players with different purpose. Like whenever I was constructing my offense, an offense that was in the vision of a coach, I always wanted to give them the idea of having different type of runners. There are runners that you want to be guys that can run the ball inside. You want guys that change the pace runner. You want guys that are shifty guys. But if you have all of the same type of runners in your backfield, then you lack variety. And you lack the ability to be creative as yourself as a play caller. So when you look at Alabama's running backs, they're almost the same guys. And when you have the same guys, it's hard for that play caller to now be creative. Now, if you do have it and the play caller is not creative, that's a whole nother battle too. But I think just attacking it on the personnel side, I believe that Courtney in that group is going to get it back to the way of having a lot of variety, a lot of different type of running back that you see with the transfer portal guy coming in.
There you go. Great take. I do agree. Smoke, great article. I'm glad you brought it up. It was something that I thought very prevalent that Bama fans needed to hear, rhyme and reason, and hearing it from the guys that played, no better to hear it.